Greetings. I was going to do this inside VirtualJK, but I thought I was probably biting off more than I could chew to do everything all at once in one day. So here we are on good old Zoom, our best friend since COVID, right? Zoom came into our lives. Welcome back. Haven't seen a number of you for a while, apart from the society folks that I see every week. So today I'm going to attempt the possible that used to be impossible. I I think we can all take nostalgic trips through the past to think about how the first version of our uh, funnel or our program or our web pages looked. I remember the first time I saw the Unbounce, which was before ClickFunnels, and you basically had to be a web designer to build, a basic landing page and to get anything live, and it was impossible to use. And now my breathwork coach built a website in Lovable yesterday in about 7 minutes, connected his calendar to it. So here we are. But today I'm going to take us through a little tour of VirtualJK, but we're going to build something. And so I have a nice fresh install here, which is a demo install. And I'm going to take us from top to bottom through an ideal client avatar, which is the dynamic thing that we have front and center on the back of our mind when we talk to the market. Our 12-month offer, our core offer, the front end to that, which is just another door into that offer, and then the campaign that we can use to actually sell and distribute that offer. And I think the cool thing is that this used to take months, and now we can do it in minutes. The I don't know if the first thing you need to do is log into VirtualJK. Probably the second thing you need to do is I'm going to use Whisperflow, which means that I'm going to talk to it because typing is like so 2024, and so I'm gonna speak to it, and then just hope. They say don't work with children, animals, and live technology, and so we just have our fingers crossed. Today, I'm going to build an ideal client avatar, a 12-month offer, a front-end campaign, and build the front-end campaign landing page and waitlist functionality. Can we get started? So one of the things that traditionally happened with onboarding, right, is onboarding someone into a program generally followed a linear path. Do this, do this. We actually had to deliver instructions. What we've done with VirtualJK is we've built in the onboarding and the things that he needs to remember about you to be the most useful to you in the stream, right? So, the first contact point of when you bought a program or a course before was you go into and watch a video and orientation. The chat with VirtualJK is the hub of everything because he can take you through anything that you need to. What's the life this business has to serve? Your non-negotiables, the hour you have to work. I only work Tuesdays and Thursdays in the mornings. I'm at 30K a month and I'm aiming for 60K in the next 90 days. The way I've divided the interaction with anything to do with you living a better life is me, right? So thinking about constraints and ideals and these kind of pieces, it's going to be me turning up, doing the thinking, the teaching, the philosophizing, and the ultimate coaching. What I am not planning to do is hand over coaching to an AI tool. I think that coaching is an interpersonal relationship. But he's a great consultant, but he needs to know the constraints to design the strategy for that. 2 mornings a week, double revenue type constraint. Who's this actually for? Give me one person, this specific situation. I want to work with a coach or a consultant who's currently doing sales calls, has a one-to-one client base, has attempted to start group coaching, but never been successful fully. They don't love working with groups. They've offered services, but they don't want to build a team. They have inconsistent lead flow because they've tried every strategy but never stuck to one. And they want consistency and predictability. The 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 cool thing about these things is that the thing I found about using voice rather than text is I don't edit so much as I'm kind of writing or speaking. Well, if you read my writing, you know that I don't edit a hell of a lot anyway. But when you're thinking about client avatars and those things, the a lot of people have the answers, and when I'm coaching someone, they already have the answers, but they just need summoning out. And what I found with voice is that it's a lot easier just to vomit on it, and you'll see the prompt in VirtualJK to do that. What's next? What offer you're actually selling? I want to sell these people one 12-month container, roughly what's in it, what it costs. I'm going to build them a replicant. It's done for you. They give us their course and their material. We build a replicant for them, build a two-tier offer for them. The cost for the done for you install with James is $980 a week. The cost of the done for you install working with VirtualJK is $198 per week. Whoops, I'm in the wrong box. The intelligence behind these things is obviously based on the knowledge base. So if you feel you have gaps, we can fill them, me and him. I talk about him like he's an actual person. So if you feel you have gaps, then just speak to them and I'll fill the gaps in. 3 left. And if you watch the business setup, it's counting down. So he's storing the information as I speak to him about me. We can move fast. What's your best proof so far? Someone you've actually got a result for, named if you can with a real number. Rob Bailey just launched his replicant, did 25K on his launch, and is opening the doors and added another 10K a month in recurring revenue. Anyone use Whisperflow? I find it's amazing, but also occasionally like little bit finicky. 2 left quick ones. Who are you to this audience? What's the content you're already putting out? Your story, your voice, what you stand for, what you post about. I post about constraints and designing a life before designing a business. I'm making content on sending an email every day and making content on YouTube when I feel like it. My voice is casual and open. What I stand for is living life and building a business to serve it, and having a business that you can run from anywhere with anybody whenever you like. And it also does that where it just doesn't stream. So these things are being saved. So as you navigate through VirtualJK, he knows this. So if you're building a page, if you're creating content, he knows what's up. He's got a better memory than I do. Where do clients find you now? Daily email us, YouTube referrals, whatever it actually is, rough number of war contacts you message this week. I have 6,000 followers on Facebook and 7,000 people on an email list. One of the most common questions is, how do I use VirtualJK? And my 2-word answer is ask him. A lot of you and a lot of people have been searching for some type of way to use him, and the best way to use him is by using him, and actually ask him. And it's the same with if you jump into the commercially available LLMs or ChatGPT or those things. If you ask them how to use them, they'll actually tell you. Today's list: auto runner avatar first, sharpens everything in the offer, then the campaign. Want to start with the avatar now? Yes, please. And always be polite to AI, because when they take over the world and they try to kill us, then they'll probably remember the people who were kind to them, right? I want to use the offer architecture. So the philosophy behind, I found the fastest way to develop an offer is develop the main thing that you want to sell, right? So if you serve recurring problems in your marketplace, whether you're selling make money, you're selling save time, you're selling, live a better life, um, then actually building the 12-month offer and then breaking it down into fractals is the fastest way for actually building an offer suite, because the bundling and unbundling principle means that if we just bundle up our prime offer, what we want to do with someone for 12 months, then we can break it down and make it easier to buy in different ways. What does someone look like in 12 months after buying this? Not the install itself, the outcome on there. What's the number that proves they got there? $1 million profit, still working 2 days a week with their constraints, and they've fulfilled one major life goal that they didn't even know they had. I think one of my more proud achievements as a person who's populating the world with more children is the number of people who join me, get rich, and have kids, and didn't even know they wanted them. Me and Elon are on that, the big push to solve the demographic problem. What's actual thing you're building into this in 12 months? It's a replicant build itself plus ongoing some more. What's inside the container over the year, not what it feels like at the end. They get weekly access to me on calls, so Tuesday and Thursday. They get an active community that's available 24/7. They get concierge support for their replicant and anything else they need from Alex and the replicant. They get 6 live events a year. This is all on the 980 tier. The people on the 198 tier work with VirtualJK exclusively, and I show up once a month. Yeah. So when you say if you have gaps, do you mean delivery? Anything really, because in most cases, prompting is an interesting thing because underlying a tool is a prompt, and one of the things that we're doing is prompting it as well. And we just need to know the right prompts, which is just asking the right questions. And one of the great things about, a replicant is that you can talk to them and they will give you back the question to ask or the frame so that you'll actually get closer to learning. And what I'm seeing is people are taking and understanding principles much, much faster than, say, operating and watching a 60-minute video of my stuff, because they're actually interacting and getting insight and context faster because that conversation is actually happening. Step 3 already answered. Check before I move on. It's 198 areas, any community or live event access, or it's strictly VirtualJK. Strictly VirtualJK. There is an active community and there are no live events. The thing that is most striking to me as well is that how more and more people are moving away from the modalities they talk about as a strict thing. The the things that happen, say, in the society, I would class as coaching, consulting, mentorship, and all at once. And there's a market. I'm observing this as people who necessarily describe them as coaches expand their ability to deliver more things for more people, into the consulting and even the done for you sphere, because you can actually build things so quickly. Name the price. You've already got weekly numbers, 980, 198. What's your now number for each tier? Is this a straight 52 week for both tiers? Straight 52 week. Pay in full price is 40,000 for the top tier and 8,500 for tier 2. VirtualJK is a bit of a stickler on pricing because there's a lot of price engineering training underneath and prompting. So he will get pretty harsh on you if you're not offering pay in full discounts that exceed 20% and these kind of things. You can, take responsibility for those things and he'll ignore them. But he gets very hung up on forcing you to the rules after me, teaching him 10 years worth of stuff. Not a clean. I want to go with those numbers. I understand your objection. You can you've still got agency here, guys. You can override him, but he's going to tell you best practice is that 20% is that. What's the best result you've got in someone? Real name, real number, something I point as proof. The real proof is me because I'm doing this in real time. I'm demonstrating in front of the audience. VirtualJK's count is running up to 78,000 a month, and so I'm teaching what I'm doing and doing what I'm teaching in public, which I've found as demonstration is better than any marketing that I can possibly do. He might not accept that. He's like, no, I need third party proof. And so the again, the underlying piece is like, what are the best practices? Okay. What's the actual result someone gets in those 12 weeks? They get a replicant installed in a $25,000 launch. So as we one of the fractals is, build the 12-month, what happens in that frame. So that's your bundle. Think about your 12-month offer. What we will then do is break it down into easy to buy because, about 1% of your market will buy your 12-month thing and come in. They've consumed content or they've followed you for, in many cases, years. And those people are relatively straightforward to sell a 12-month engagement to because it's a big commitment, both in terms of time and financially in those pieces. But to get the other 3, 6, and 9% of the market, we do need to break down our offer to make it easy to buy because otherwise we're waiting for those people who are solution aware. That's a good front end promise, 25K launch behind it. Rate running for those week or separate reduced price just for the install period. It's 10,000 pay in full or the weeklies respectively. How are you guys liking the single agent versus the multi-agent selector? Because for me, I've like tripled my usage of myself because I can just chat to it all day long and it just, gives me the relevant thing. So one of the projects that's completed already is the getting started. So when your getting started project's complete, it means VirtualJK knows what he needs to know about you. So if you're one of our test drive users and you're not a full user here, and thank you and welcome to our guests, there's a few different ways that you can take things out of VirtualJK and actually take them and use them. If you look up here in the top right, you can connect Google Docs. So if you connect Google Docs, then essentially it will save you as a Google Doc, which obviously goes straight to your drive. And you can also download these as PDFs and text. So that's the offer built per your original list, turning this into an actual sale. So like this is the offer architecture. So I've got an offer and we're about 15 minutes in. Can you turn this into an actual sales and offer document? Then we will do the front end campaign design. The components of the offer are always, does it have the price? Does it have a promise? And does it have the phases mapped out? These are the things that actually happens. I can only do three of these a week as I am hands-on involved in each install. A true and genuine constraint. The most noticeable thing over the past year is how more and more immune people are to scarcity and urgency because marketers ruin everything, right? And the only real urgency I use these days is it's happening live and get it because it's real and genuine. And the only real urgency I use these days is the only real scarcity I use these days is actual scarcity in terms of I've got my hands on this, or if there's a one-on-one call on those pieces. Um, I think the more people try and use urgency and scarcity that's kind of invented or manufactured, the less response you ultimately get from your list and audience. So this is the offer, right? Great offer. Let's move to the front end campaign design. So you've got an offer there. These are formatted. The the main thing with VirtualJK will produce you an offer that I call 90% market ready. The thing is, at this stage of working with him, he doesn't have your voice. He's got most of mine, right? And if you think about the context of an offer, by the time someone sees that offer doc, that's not the first touch point they've had with you. They have probably consumed a number of content. They may have had a conversation with you. They may have interacted with you by chat. They've seen you speak on video. They've read your articles, etc. They've got a sense of your voice. And so the way to customize these is leave the main bits. This is high converting offer territory. This works. It only works when they get through the bit that's you, right? And so when you're looking at offers that we produce, your job is to make your voice flow into the architecture, right? Because as I always say, the offer gets sold on the first page, right? They're into it. They're starting to imagine these are the things that we do. Okay, that makes sense from all the pieces they've seen, but they want to know it's you, right? You know, we are in a social in a proto-social world where they've to even get to the stage of making someone an offer, we've built some kind of relationship. And so the piece you need to have is your voice here. And as you go along, VirtualJK will learn your voice. But at this stage, he's got mine. And so he's going to speak in that kind of way. And you probably don't speak like me. You probably don't use the phraseology and the turns of phrase to that. But that's your job when it comes there. So the front end is the easiest way to think about a front end is it's an easier to sell entry into your main offer. You get, if working, as I said, working with someone over 12 months requires a high commitment and it's a costly sales process. It can take time. It can take, in many cases, some convincing. And that's why traditionally high ticket offers were sold on a sales call because the, the, um, the persuasion could be condensed into a window of, 30 or 45 minutes. That is still a valid way to do it. Many people are using, sales calls either after the offer doc or even during the sales call. But if we want something that converts to a high level, and we want to maximize our efficiency, then having a 12-month offer that lives on a Google Doc, or if you really want a sales page, we are going to sell to a small fraction of the market. So a front end offer essentially is a lower commitment piece to get people moving into it. You give them the same experience. In my front end offers, people come into the society, they get access to me, they're invited to the events, and everything stays the same. So that means that by the end of the 12 or the 16 week or whatever period it is, it's not a question of do you want to join this thing? It's a question of do you want to keep going or would you like to leave and stop here? And the goal is for 50% of people from your front end offer to stay and kind of ongoing into your 12-month offer. We often see that for most people who are selling 1 to 2 people a week into their front end offer, that's much higher than 50%. But it also gives you that way out for not perfect fit clients, etc., who don't necessarily want in the full 12-month container. I have already sold the front end offer to 5 people, so I'd like to move to building the campaign. the the process of a front end offer is we don't build assets until we've validated the offer, right? And VirtualJK will make sure that the offer is validated before you and him start building significant assets. We don't want to run a ton of traffic and potentially even ads to an offer that's not fully validated. And so the validation process, once he's produced your 12-month offer and then your front end offer, the validation process is the manual process that we go to. I'm doing this. Would you like to join? And once we've sold 3, we've crossed that validation line, and it's worth building a campaign around. Three sales I've found to be proof. It's more than one, and it's a good enough data point to actually build a campaign around it that you can then optimize into the market. But you are 5 times more likely to get a campaign and ads and promotions and pieces working with an offer that's validated, because you just have more intelligence from the market, so you can modify that campaign better. Cold starting an offer straight into the market and running traffic to it is an expensive endeavor that most people tend to not, be able to sustain. So validating with 3 before you build a campaign and doing that as quickly as possible is better than spending $5,000 on ads trying to find your first client. Wants me to set up an Action Hub project for this campaign. Yes, I do. And I'd also like you to tell me step by step what we're doing over the next 8 weeks to set me on the path to my 60K target. Whose clients say they want accountability? Because once they get it, it can be quite challenging. One of the interesting things I've found with blending the tools and customization with clients who have close access to me is that they don't want accountability from me. They want accountability to themselves. So the clients who are using accountability in the sense of running a project use it because it's self-generated and self-directed, because it is essentially a dynamic to-do list. The clients who say they want accountability but then resist it, have you done the thing, etc. Most people don't want accountability. They just want a clear plan and a path. So we've built in the Action Hub and projects an interesting way for people to have their own accountability. And if you're a coach and you're layering that over, your clients might have just a virtual access level like some of mine do, or a full access level where they've got me and VirtualJK. You'll find that from a delivery, I'm flicking to, talking about delivery here. From a delivery perspective, you can kind of blend the right kind of people. And as Michael said, if you choose high agency people, then they give themselves the accountability and you don't need to give them any. So write the demo VSL script, record the VSL, write application questions. So he's given me 15 steps. Let's start. So when you look in the left-hand toolbar, I'll automatically create those projects for you. Yes, it's opening right now with the 3-a-week restriction. Kath, consulting in personal brand space of methodology. The replicant pick up the bits that don't need to be the upfront extraction is the part where I just need to complete questionnaires. Yeah, it ingests everything and then stores it as a memory. I'll show you how it's stored afterwards. So I've given you the frame of I hate VSLs. I hate recording them. I hate the idea of having a script. I hate I hate them. But goddamn they work. And if you can craft a 3 to 10 minute VSL, mine are framed at the kind of the 4 to 5 minute mark. If you can just hit the points, then a VSL will do everything you need to get the click on the other side. So hook, stakes, demo, proof, offer, call to action. So I I give you a script. Don't read the script because everybody can tell you're reading a script. Unless you're one of those absolute ninjas who can somehow look like they're not reading a script while they are. People who have 10 years in television, which I know a couple. But hit those points and your VSL, video sales letter, for those who are unfamiliar with the term, will get the click on the other side. And a good VSL means that we can not hide any of the marketing. And I'll show you what I mean when we get to the page. Okay. I'll record the VSL later. Can we write the landing page for this front-end campaign now? One of the pieces that happens in a level 5 market, so if we go through the stages of awareness and talk about market sophistication, one of the other ways to think about market sophistication is market cynicism. And so back in the day, you could call, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. You could call a sales call a strategy session. Everyone go, fuck yeah, I'm going on a strategy session. I'm going to get a strategy. And then they get to the end and they'll be, okay, that's $10,000 to join. And they were like, wow, what happened? This was amazing. I came for a strategy and I walked away with a credit card bill. And as the market got more sophisticated, we had less ability and less incentive to hide the sales process. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I launched the Daily Client Machine. Alan Sultanic launched an amazing book, which is essentially selling a low ticket product. On the front end, you'll see Alan's framework everywhere. Sell a low ticket product or a book with lots of bonuses. Have upsells, have one-time offers, and then get the person into a sales call and into a high ticket. Those methods are very effective because they measured, and low ticket to mid ticket to high ticket as an ascension piece is very effective because it doesn't hide any of the sales pitch. People are straight away buying, right? They're becoming customers, and then you're ascending them into clients. And one of the things I see these days is people are still using the old thinking of, if I try and hide as much of the sales process as possible, I'm going to make the most amount of sales. When actually it's the inverse. The simple way to look at this is sell the idea in your content and sell the offer in your campaign. Because by the time they've absorbed the idea, and that's been proved that the idea is valid for you and for other people, and then by the time they've absorbed the idea, the natural piece of, once they're bought into the idea that you're pitching and selling, which is what your content does, is that the natural piece is, well, how do you fulfill that idea? And an offer is just a bridge from where they are to this ideal future. And the ideal future is what has already been framed in the presentation of your idea. So these days, when people talk about make content be everywhere and those things, what the primary goal of your content is to derive context for your idea. Why do people need a replicant? Why should people work 2 days a week? Why is $1 million a year profit important, right? And so my goal with content is not to sell anything, which I'm not blowing smoke here, is the most freeing thing you can possibly do, right? If you take away the idea that your content needs to sell offers, and you take on the idea that your content just needs to sell ideas, what I see happen when people actually buy into that and actually do it is they can make massive amounts of content all of a sudden when they were blocked before, because they were trying to make the content sell things. The only job of your content these days is to sell an idea. And the peripheral thing that you're communicating in that idea is that you're the person to fulfill that idea, right? And people ask me how. How do you send 2 emails a day? How are you prolific? And it's because I don't attempt to sell anything in terms of transactionally in any of my content. I just sell the idea and then point them towards a place that they can actually, perform the transaction. And this means the content sells ideas and the campaign sell offers. And that is one of the most simple ways I've found to unlock people's ability to make content, because then they can just tell stories or point out insights or demonstrate or share without this implied pressure all the time that the content needs to sell something. The only thing it needs to sell is the idea. Two builds, the VSL page and the application page, both wired for lead capture. Building the VSL page now. Okay. Who's been using the page builder? Anyone? We looked and hardly anyone. Probably because I didn't tell you about it and didn't show you. I've had like 4 fuck yeah moments as Dan's built out this amazing stuff in the background of VirtualJK when I mentally and verbally vomit on a voice note to him at 3 a.m. going, it would be cool if we could do that because I just saw this thing. And then like by the time I wake up, it's kind of built and on sitting on the staging server. But when I started using the page builder, because I hate building funnels, I hate building pages. I actually hate writing copy. This is just a day of confessions. I hate VSLs. I just don't like doing any of it anymore because I've done it for ages. But they goddamn work, and they've made me so much money and connected me with so many amazing people that we need them, right? So one of the primary goals with VirtualJK is to spend as little time using them as humanly possible. And so anything that can speed up processes that I dislike, and I'm going to just assume on your behalf that you dislike as well, that is the goal of what we're building here, right? I don't want you in here all the time, right? The magic happens with people. The magic happens on these calls, in your home, in a hotel conference room, in a hotel room if you're into some of those like more woo-woo kind of practices. But the overarching design goal of this is to people know what to do and then they go and do it. They know what they need to do. They don't want to do it. VirtualJK does it for them and then they can go and do it. Because the more time you spend with people, the more time you spend in conversations, the more time you spend, serving and delivering, and the less time you spend, working out what the next Facebook post looks like or what the third bullet point on your sales page needs to be, the better your life is and the more money you make. So these pages are, essentially designed because VirtualJK will put the campaign in front of it to not hide the sales process. Get your replicant installed and launched in 12 weeks, so don't pay a cent more. By the time someone's got to this page, they know what a replicant is because the content has framed it up. They might have used it, they might have demonstrated, they might have seen me writing about it, they might have seen case studies of me talking about it. And so by the time they get there, then we talk about what's happened and the proof points, et cetera, et cetera. And then, this is personal preference. Some people don't like to expose the price. I more and more am exposing price earlier and earlier in any sales process because there is no such thing as a sales process anymore. They've kind of just morphed into this. And marketing and sales have definitely morphed into this amorphous blob where everything just happens in a continuum. But I'm finding the earlier I expose price and the earlier I am honest with the investment and work harder to prove the outcomes, the more productive conversations I have when I have them. And also I don't have conversations with tire kickers because the price is out the front. And so that page will be there. All you'd need to do would be publish it. You can change the URL there, and you've got a live sales page. So um, if you go here, I don't know what to do. It's done. We'll go back to VirtualJK and you look down here. Gonna load. There I am. And so if you want to publish that page today, get the leads out, you can connect high level and you can get them out. You can use a webhook to put into anything that's essentially, almost every CRM or Zapier's got a webhook, or you can export in the old school way and, send them a letter or whatever you're into. So we've built a front end offer, we've built a full offer, we've built a sales page for that offer. My job would be next to record a VSL. So if I go to my project here, I've got record VSL, write application questions. So let's pretend I've recorded the VSL. I'm fine with those. I've done that. Since we've got time, I have more time than I thought. Can I get a waitlist campaign for the sales page, please? If you can only onboard 2 or 3 clients a week properly, then you should probably only onboard 2 or 3 clients a week and then start to build a waiting list. One of the James cliches is that the way to run a low stress business is have less supply than demand. And one of the ways to do that is a wait list. I don't know if Jared's here, but Jared, set a simple goal of how many clients he was going to take on into July, hit it, and then starts building the wait list for the August intake, right? And so it's impossible to see when you're in it or if you haven't had excess demand before. But if you build future demand because there's desire in the market, it's one step down from the benefit of recurring revenue. Recurring demand is one step down. Is the amount of stress that a lot of people feel going into the month of trying to extract all the clients out of the market is one of the things that actually probably one of the greatest stresses, like where's the next client coming from, etc. When you're not waking up on Monday morning going, where's the next client coming from, because there's 4 people on your wait list or 5 people who put their hands up there, and you've got a rich list of targets to go to for your next offer opening, or even customize anything for them, then the level of stress and anxiety that you feel about growing or acquisition, which most people are demand constrained, is dramatically lower. So he's got the emails. We don't have email sending and automation functionality yet. So you will need to go and copy and paste those. I'm very sorry that we've gone back to 2025 and we have to do old school shit like that, but we will fix this. The waitlist will essentially start to build that future demand. And I can't stress enough how much I think that one of the lowest stress ways to run a business is have recurring revenue of going into a month with at least your fixed costs covered. But B, have recurring demand, which is have a active list of people who've put their hand up for a thing that's well defined that you haven't been able to serve at the time and actually get back to them. And I would actually argue that starting a wait list rather than letting someone buy from day one is actually a better way to actually acquire a customer. I actually do that with the replicant install now because I want people to fully understand what it is and what they're getting into. So I email them for 3 days before I even send the offer there. So I've made sure that that person understands what it is and positions that. Should I just fill up 99 minutes and just build a whole business? Or should we just like chat and shit? So what did I say to him? I'm going 30K to 60K a month, set up Stripe payment link, the Stripe integration for the people who already have replicants. The Stripe integration is live on VirtualJK, and you'll get that yourself shortly. So the sales page will be fully complete. For our guests, that sales page that you used was built by VirtualJK and had the Stripe checkout and etc. So mine's using it already. I am the big replicant guinea pig, right? I get the feature first, it breaks, Dan fixes it, and then we give it to our growing list of people who've got one. Close application on deadline, drive application during window, and outside date list, publishing, connect, lead capture. Well, what else can he do? Can you write me a post for Facebook launching this offer? If you explore the integrations as well, just remember that he can connect to these things. So if you connect your YouTube channel and you tell him, hey, I just did this really good video and it got 1,000 views more than normal, can you go and look and analyze why it got so many more views and give me 3 video ideas to make next? So he is more than sentient because he can go out there and look at stuff. We're obviously not allowed to connect to Facebook profiles, so they're Facebook pages, but you can connect everything else. I think Dave was actively using the meta ads as well, so he set VirtualJK up as his co-pilot for his ads, analyzing them and what to publish next, etc., etc. So he writes like me in lines without using proper paragraphs and starting, again, it's voice, right? And so if you go down here and you look at the snippets and these things, you can start to save stuff. So you can build a profile. And the more we, us, I don't even know how to talk about him because I talk to him like he's a person, yet it's me. And then my son's working with him. And it's just, I feel like I'm mildly psychotic when I talk about an AI that's me. But anyway, all the work that we've done this morning, this was blank, when we started. So this is, your business setup, life and constraints, the ideal client, your one offer, your method, and these pieces. So, if I'm coaching someone, I might like bring them back here. If I'm working with them one-to-one or they've got access to me, I'll bring them back here. Like, are these things still true? Are they fit for purpose? And as you use it, the learning takes place. So before, our early users, thank you again for coming on this ride. You had to save things and you had to kind of tell them what you wanted to remember. He's remembering everything you're doing. And that's why if you're thinking out loud and having those conversations, and as I said before, and Kath answered that question, is like filling the gaps, that memory starts to form into something that means that the tool gets faster and more contextually relevant, right? And that's the goal of this. It's not for me or you to sit here all day chatting shit to an AI tool that's trained on 10 years worth of stuff. It's to get you to the thing, to the answer, the post, the content, the page, the offer, and you go, that's the piece. Best cancellation that we had last week, and we don't get many, it was I'm canceling because I'm spending too much time talking to him because he's too useful and it's too nice and I need to go and actually make some money. And I'm like, I love that. It's proper discernment, but it's also it means that I haven't set up the bounds of why these tools are so accelerationist and why they're so essential to actually usage. So all the memories are there and everything.
You want to show campaigns, James?
The new one?
Yeah, or just how it is now. So people can kind of see how it all connects together.
I thought we didn't want to show people that.
It's up to you. It's in there under your well, it's you got to go to God mode. Maybe that would be for another workshop. People are asking a lot of questions about Go High Level, how it works with it, and I'm trying to say in so many words,
Fuck Go High Level,
you might not
man.
need
This
Go
is
High Level.
way
Yeah.
better. um, I said there's like 3 or 4 times when I'm like, fuck yeah. This is it, guys. So in one of those 3 a.m. wouldn't it be cool if pieces, I didn't get up at 6 a.m. and it was built because it would took a little bit more than that. Um, Thank you, Red Bull and various other stimulants to Mr. Dan Schwartz. Um, wouldn't it be cool if you just saw all the pieces, the digital pieces, right? Because to get out there in the world, we need digital real estate. We need pages, we need copy, we need content, and it lives in all these different places. And it's kind of this network, this kind of imperfect piece. But wouldn't it be cool if we could just see everything in one place? We could see where things were coming from. We could see what they did. We could see what they actually did in terms of the numbers because it knows. And it could then maybe tell us what wasn't working. Hey, James, the test drive is getting lots of members, but they're not upgrading. Let's do something about that. Hey, James, the test drive is getting hardly any members, but all the members are upgrading. So we need more people in the test drive. Let's drive more cold traffic. Here's some ads to do it. And so that's what this is. And so that means that years and years ago, I used to build funnels for people. I had 3 people doing it. Alex is still here, which is awesome. 11 years later. Then we found things like Kartra and ClickFunnels where we could build it for people. Then I started giving people templates. And then a few years ago, I started giving people, I'll use this Go High Level snapshot. What are they called? Snapshot. Here you go, off you go. And then they have to get in there and change the thing. Now we push a button, right? Because all of those memories that you put in there, it knows what to say on all of the campaigns that I can give you. And there's only 3. There's only 3 core campaigns that we're going to do. So that's what this is. That means that we can give you full campaigns and not go, oh yeah, guys, go off and modify them and click some buttons and put them in, but actually just give you the campaign. And then your VirtualJK will build it for you, and then it will co-pilot it with you, so you'll see everything that actually is going on. Because even I, with my gigantic intelligence and handsomeness, cannot possibly comprehend what's happening across my vast digital empire of Facebook pages, YouTube channels, email lists, and landing pages that people randomly find and give me money, even though I thought they were deleted a year ago. So seeing everything in one place is like ridiculously valuable, but having it active and dynamic where it will actually give you things to improve this thing. The and in true society way, the first person I showed this to 3 days ago, who has a replicant, has signed up 4 people already for his done for you offer because he's completely thrown out coaching and gone straight back to done for you because he can just clone and install his clients' funnels immediately, right? So he's like, I don't need these 2 team members that I had because I can just give people funnels on day 1, etc. So if you're in the business of delivering these things as well and you have a replicant, then obviously that benefit confers to you. I won't show anything else in there. That's the secret sauce. God mode. Everyone's fascinated by God mode. God mode is our ability to give one of you a replicant when you need it. Questions?
Got 1,000 questions. Am I allowed to ask them?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So James, personal brand strategist. I have my own clients. I've got 17 clients in a GHL sub account. I do installs in a done for you way like this, but I've built it all in Go High Level. I'm so happy to move platforms, but am I going to be able to? I don't understand, like you're kind of circling around it, but like this guy that does installs for his clients, and can I add clients in here? Can I white label it? Like how can I create, because my offer is I'll set it all up for you and then you can take it and run it for yourself kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like 30K, 12 months, you get a website, you get strategy website, an engine that goes out and gets PR and awards applications for you and all that shit. And then you're on your own, and you pay subscriptions for things after that. So is that something that I can build here, or would I that my brain's blowing up?
Yeah. So you get your own VirtualJK. This is the question about licensing. You get your own VirtualJK. So you get VirtualCath, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you onboard a client and say, we're going to build your personal brand over 12 weeks. You do an install offer, right? And it's 10 grand.
Yep.
You have all your assets essentially pre-templated and pre-camp like I do. And
Yeah.
they onboard and they answer those 7 questions
Yeah.
that we went through there.
Mm-hmm.
You click a button and then their campaigns and all their assets will be built, right? And then they have their own account. And then
Yeah.
you could have, what I do is I have 2 tiers. Like, hey, I'd love to keep working together. You and we have calls. You get you sell coaching and consulting over the top of it. So you sell access over the top of it. Or if you want to keep all the assets and keep everything, just keep your VirtualCath account and you run it yourself with some support. So you can have a 2-tier offer, which you divert from there. So it's $5 grand a month to work with me privately, or $1,000 a month to have all these assets and work with me, work with the digital version of me. So exactly the same.
So what I'm seeing right now and experiencing as a user, I can sell to my clients.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fuck, that sounds pretty fucking cool.
We don't have email yet. I keep saying yet. I know Dan's here.
It's in the yeah, it's coming.
You heard it here last, folks. So yeah, I mean, listen, I want to offer done for you services to my clients because I just want them out in the market doing stuff.
Same.
I want to coach. I want to consult. I'm a greedy bastard. I want to do it all. I don't want to be a coach. I don't want to run an agency or those things.
Yeah.
But the problem, the challenge that everyone's developed, and I hear it every day, is like, I don't want to run an agency. What people are really saying is, I don't want to hire a team. I don't want the labor. I don't want the clients. I don't want the blah, 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 back and forth. I don't want it. The client just wants something. You have the something, and that you want a way to deliver that like that. And that's what I built, right? Because that's what I want. Because I don't want to sit on a call with Alex or on a call with Rob or a call with, put this word in the second line of the copy to make it. I just want to push a fucking button and they have it. And then they come back a week later and go, hey, let's look at the numbers. And so that's what we built.
Oh my God. Okay. And so is the ongoing cost so how do you, is it 130 whatever a week forever? Or do you have to pay, would I pay 138 a week for my individual clients, or like how?
If you get a license from me, so at the moment, the only way to get a license is being the society. If you get a license, it's for up to 1,000 users. And then you just pay the token costs. So my individual token bill on any given month is about $2,000. So that's your kind of operating cost of it.
Yeah.
But that's running all of you guys. That's running 600 users, 190 something clients, So it's like heavy usage. If you're running 15 clients, your token costs are going to be pretty negligible. A few $100. So that's your only cost.
Okay. Sorry, sometimes it takes my mind a little minute to get my head around shit.
Hey, that's taken me 18 months to get my head around this, because the actual that realization that we're in a whole different category.
Yeah.
And I'm just calling it productizing yourself. Is only relatively recent, because I kept trying to fit things into the old way. I kept finding, and I've talked about modalities all the time, right? So it's really dumb that it took me this long to understand that it wasn't
Yeah.
about being a coach, being a consultant. Like I moved on from that and I said I was offering all the pieces.
Yeah.
But when Naval in 2018 said productize yourself, the last mile wasn't here yet, 8 years
Yeah.
ago. The last mile was code, because code was our ability to deliver the thing to the client no matter what it is, right? And this doesn't just, I mean, it's built for me and the people who sell funnels and leads and online marketing and sales and those things. It fits perfectly just to transport the whole thing across. But the guys who are coaching, the guys who are mentoring, the people who don't necessarily have money goals or lots of digital deliverables, um, Jason and Janine, their clients are taking the proposals, the corporate proposals out of here and handing them over, and they love them because they're beautiful and those pieces. So they've just condensed the process. And so what it does is essentially condense this process, because the building of the offer, the front end, the pages this morning, that would have taken weeks before. And then it took days with templates and those things, and now it takes minutes. So yeah, it is conceptually kind of just wrapping a head around, and we're in the early days of it.
Yeah, and then and it would work like like one of my personal, like I've got 4 kind of key big personal brand clients, and I'm thinking I can only take on one every 2 months because of the amount of upfront strategy work I do with them, which I think that this might sort of solve too. But like if I had a building certifier as one of them and a family counselor as another one, like it doesn't matter, right? Like this is consulting land. It's not like I don't have to have the same shit for everybody. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just in terms of insight, what I've noticed about the guys who, even my one-on-one clients who have full access to me, they're using VirtualJK as kind of a permission partner and a thought partner. So what happens is that a few of my clients will go into VirtualJK, kind of riff on something, and like formulate the question and the proposition, and then come to me and go, I made this or have this idea, and then I'll just kind of shape the last 10, 15% of it and give them some of the nuance, and then they go and do it. Or on a weekly call, what's happening is a few people we have a conversation of like, and I'm helping with the diagnosis and the discernment of whatever's going on, or the blocker or the opportunity. And then the work's happening in VirtualJK. So the execution cycle is condensed, and I used to do the $5,000 offer calls, like $5,000, come on, we'll write an offer on Zoom, however long it takes. Like that ripped that whole market away, because now I just give you the tool that costs $5 to do that. Right.
Yeah.
And so the easiest way to think about it, and I discovered that early on with the offer printer, was that it's you've got a process, it condenses it. You've got an executable, it iterates on it faster. So it's this account, no matter what the client does or what you do with the client, if there's a process underlying it, what these tools do is condense that and get you to the executable faster.
Yeah. Is it, I mean, I don't know if there's this spot, whatever society thingy, you've got a lot of words and it takes me a bit of time to get my head around what they all mean.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can I have a phone call with you about joining that? Like, so I can ask my questions? No. Okay.
No. I just send you a doc and you ask me questions off the back of that.
Okay. But I'm allowed to ask questions. You're
definitely allowed to ask questions. It's a very healthy practice. Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right. Can you send me that doc then?
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
Thank you.
Anyone finding themselves, and thank you, Kath, I know you're a guest here. Anyone find, in terms of the regular users, finding themselves kind of stuck anywhere, or maybe using VirtualJK too much or too little in terms of kind of iterating around a piece? Because I'd love to know. Because as I said today, one of the design philosophies is how do we condense process to, kind of get you out there? No? It's perfect. Okay. We'll stop developing now, Dan, and just keep shipping. Anyone want to talk about offers or pieces in the market or anything else? The floor is open to questions.
James, I wanted to ask about, good to see you, by the way.
Likewise.
I wanted to ask about the back end. So if you come on board with this, obviously it needs to understand who you are to become the virtual you. What does populating the back end look like?
I still giggle at that word. I'm so immature, aren't I? You want to see my back end, Michael? I'll show you my back end.
Not when you put it that way.
If I just in terms of some lore here, what we found when we had individual agents was that about 20 or 30% of the people would start off with the wrong agent and like start talking to the wrong thing, which isn't a great kind of user experience. And so having a single agent means that we can just have skills and you just populate the knowledge base. So
is it template based, or you just upload the transcripts of every call you've ever done?
just fire them in. The new Dan and I are massive fans of Notebook LM because we think it's a brilliant product. And then there's a new interface coming which will essentially allow you to drag anything you like into it, and it'll create the knowledge base and then populate it in real time.
Can you tell us about Notebook LM? I haven't heard of that. Is that like Notion?
It's a Google product, and essentially it's got a 3-pane interface. On the left hand side, you put in a web page or a YouTube video or anything like that. Obviously, it's well connected to the Google universe. Then the agent in the middle kind of summarizes it for you, and then on the right hand side, you get an output, so you can make a graphic or anything like that with it. And so what Dan's built is the ability to put in documents on the left hand side, or put in a YouTube video, or put in any of your training. Then it builds your knowledge base document in the middle, so your prompt. And then on the right-hand side, you can immediately start talking to yourself. So it actually builds the agent in real time.
Okay.
So you just need to extract your whatever you've got from your courses, your material, pull it out of school, drop it in there, and you've got an agent. And then we've worked out the prompts and those things after building 30 of them, how to condense it to get the responses back really quick. Because what you'll notice with VirtualJK versus, say, one of the user experiences versus an external LLM like using Claude, every time I talk to Claude, he's the most wordy bastard on the, it's like paragraphs of stuff back. He's concise and condensed, and that's the voice, and then we tune your voice around it.
Okay. So just no work is required other than just dragging and dropping. I don't need to like create some sort of master summary first of each call I've done or anything like that.
No, it's dynamic in the sense as we go along, the agent will actually build itself.
Okay.
So once you've built the first iteration of your agent, the agent will self-correct. So the agent has an agent.
Yep.
We're getting properly inception based here, I know, but the agent has an agent to make the agent better all the time, so that you can constantly improve your agent.
Got it. Makes sense.
A good thing to think about is if you can figure out how to condense your entire philosophy and methodology into a 20 or 30-minute YouTube video, and then you upload that link into this new kind of bot training interface that I'm creating, that alone will get you 80% the way there. It'll create your skills, it'll write the system instructions, all just based off the transcript from your video. So a lot of the challenge now is condensing knowledge down to as few words as possible, because that's really what AI wants. And it's not just adding as many transcripts and files as possible, because that actually will hinder its output. So that's the vision, is just upload your YouTube videos, and then boom, you got a really well-trained AI that's also built on top of the page builder and the copywriting and all these other embedded skills and meta instructions that we have that are kind of dictating how the thing talks to your clients.
Okay. So it is more a case, Dan, that you need to work your content first to organize it before the upload.
It's best to put all the content in and then work it in there, because it will condense it down. That's what I've found.
Yeah.
So and honestly, this has been one of the more interesting mental challenges that I've had. Is I thought a lot of my processes were tight. I thought a lot of my methods were pretty tight. It turned out they're not. And so it's helped me condense and distill a lot of methodologies and a lot of strategies in real time, because when I started, I had everything in there, and now the knowledge base is now smaller than it was before. So Michael, it's a process that's like in flow, put everything in there and then condense it down. But it's helped me see the 80/20, and then I realized there was another 80/20 underneath that,
Yep.
of like, okay, I think when we first started it, the VirtualJK is saying I have 30 mechanisms, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So it really, the condensation and a distillation of knowledge, which is pretty cool. It's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Last question. And the user experience for our members is more or less identical, James, to what our experience is for you, in the sense we've got VirtualJK here, and then we can access call recordings, like that whole ecosystem, removing
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
Or
You get everything. You get the classroom, and that this, we didn't announce this, but these are fully indexed now. So if you go into a training, like Michael, I know you've got a ton of you've got a lot of content, right? Because of
Yep.
sales
I got
calls and those kind of things.
3 years worth of 4 calls a week.
Yeah. So if you uploaded all your calls, right?
Yep.
Your role play calls and the sales training and those things, they are fully indexable in there. So that
And you can chat with them now, James. I just
which one?
tightened this up yesterday. If you go into a course module and open the course chat, you can directly chat with the transcript of that call.
Can we see an
Yeah.
example of that on this call? Is that possible?
Go back to. You guys are seeing me change windows, aren't you? I'm actually sharing.
Nah, we just see the VirtualJK.
I remember Michael ages ago talking about, when you move people to the next part of the course, etc., can you quiz them, etc. So this would give you the ability to essentially move and to unlock.
Yep.
So I chose something without any notes.
It's the same. It's the same as YouTube when you use the AI on that, I presume.
Yeah. So the agent's the same. So the agent has the memory.
Yep.
So explain the key concepts of lesson. So I'll test them. How does this apply to my front end campaign?
And the answer that's drawing doesn't just come from the video, that comes from all the learnings uploaded, I presume. Like when it calculates the answer?
It comes from, it needs a transcript to go, but it then applies the memory there. So
okay.
That said, it remembered what we just did, right? So it said, this is what we do. So it takes the learning from that, applies it over, so you could test it on different methodologies there. So,
and on top of all that is your entire knowledge base that it can pull from as needed, like a retrieval system.
Yep. Okay. Amazing. Thank you.
It'd be Michael St. John's using his replicant as like a role play and objection handler.
Okay, nice.
So there's actually actively working with clients, because his clients are on the road, right?
Yep.
So his clients are, I don't know the number, that Dan will know better than me, but I believe the majority of his clients are using voice.
Okay.
So chatting back and forth, which of course for sales training or anything like that, I don't have voice enabled here. For sales training or anything like that, it's conversational, so it's super useful.
Yep. So you can enable voice on this, it sounds like?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was all my questions.
Cool.
It's amazing.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Other than me, I think. Hey, James.
Hey, man.
Well, Michael and Kath kind of asked some of the things I wanted to ask. So obviously, James, we've been chatting a little bit by email. Actually, the first product demo you did just a week or two ago, I don't know if I helped prompt that, but that actually was really helpful. I was getting a bit lost just in the emails and stuff of what you could actually do. So thanks for that. That was really helpful.
Me too, because there's so much flipping stuff. Right?
There's a lot. It sounds like it's just changing by the minute too, right? It's just growing fast. And so I guess a couple of things. Obviously, as you know, I'm brand new on my consulting coaching journey. I spent the whole year building out some courses and tools and funnels and getting it all ready. It was about to launch, and then a couple of weeks ago, looked at a whole lot of meta updates and was like, my ads are just going to get banned straight away. And I'm also new to that. So I've had to rewrite, reshoot. I've been in that hell loop for about the last 2 months, and now I'm nearly ready to launch again. And so I love the idea of the replicant and sort of want to get myself to that point. But what I'm trying to do first is just prove that people want to buy my shit. That's the first thing before I'd make that investment, right? So that's the long-term plan. But one of the things I was wondering with the replicant, so I've just built out one of your earlier feedbacks was a lot of my tools are spreadsheets, right? I'm teaching ecom people how to do their stuff. And you told me that's super boring shit. I should build tools. So I went out and built a tool called the Profit Leak Detector, help people find their profit leaks in their business.
Yeah.
And it took me several days of back and forth with Claude. But I got there in the end, and I've got this tool ready to launch now as a lead magnet, which I'll hopefully turn on in the next couple of days.
Cool.
But what I found with it was it did have to build off the spreadsheet. There is a lot of calculations. It is a lot of numbers. So how would you, if I had a replicant of me and I was trying to train and build tools, because what I ultimately think I want to do is build out a little tool suite for ecom people. Can I, not, I guess you can, but how do you go about building that with spreadsheets and all this sort of complex calculation? Because I know the way you've sort of put all your tools now, basically all under VirtualJK under the one thing. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it like that. I'm just trying to figure out how I'd actually do it,
Do your clients want spreadsheets or do they want data?
I don't know yet. This is the thing. I know for me in a business, for ecom people, there's a lot of shit like inventory management and cash flow and all these sorts of things, which it helps to have spreadsheets because you've got this consistent trackability and progress and all of that, right? Whereas obviously the interactive experience of an AI type tool, it's great to have this conversational thing. And I've got the tool's spitting out a really cool report showing people where their profit leaks are, and there's sliders to show them how, it's really cool, the tool. But it kind of has limitations it can't actually go into a conversation. It can basically take people through the thing and give them the result or give them the report. But then after that, it then has to go, you have to go and talk to me, which I've got a basic virtual Dan in my Go High level, right? So I've built everything in there, which is why I keep asking questions to Dan and you also about how do I connect the two, right? If I get a replicant, I've got all this shit already in GHL. So I'm just trying to work out how to figure it all out. And this is before I've even launched anything, right? So I'm tying myself up in knots a little bit.
Yeah, like in the simplest sense, if you've got a process, a replicant can condense that process and deliver the outcomes and the actions to clients better than a coach can, because it's available in real time and it's got direct actions. So to me, a spreadsheet is just a visualization tool to see everything in one place. And what we've built in a building is better visualization tools to see everything in one place. That's actually much more actionable because you could have your profit leak, your profit leak assessment, but where are they leaking profit? They're leaking it in the abandoned cart sequence. They're leaking it in the sales page. So you give them the sales page there. This sales page should convert at that, for an e-commerce business. So to me, it's just ingesting the data and then visualizing it and then giving people ways to interact with it and actually act on it. So it's more about data visualization, knowing it, because AI is a gigantic, excellent data crunching machine.
Yeah. So if I had people do, for example, spreadsheets in these early versions of these, courses I've got, and they do all their spreadsheets, could I have the replicant? Could they upload their spreadsheets to the replicant and Virtual Me helps to analyze what they've got out of them? Because I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like virtual, these things will ingest data all day long.
Yeah.
Right. I use him myself to ingest my own data. And the advantage of having a knowledge-based system rather than Claude and those things is it hallucinates less. I'm not saying it doesn't hallucinate, but it hallucinates less because it's working off a much tighter, because some of the data that you get back from those, can you give me feedback on this offer structure? So some of the the data that you get back from those tools is just flat out wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true because there's, like you've talked about before, there's a lot of nuance, right? So, profit leak detector, right? You can find people's profit leaks for them, and one of them is high ad costs, right? But then a lot of people run ads at a loss, just because it helps with their organic growth and sales, right? And so as long as the overall business is profitable, who cares if your ads aren't? So there's all these nuances, which was where the coaching and consulting part comes in, and that's hard to do just within this little tool. The tools, again, it's the lead magnet to then to send them into other stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, if I had an ecom client, I would design the 5 to 7 step onboarding piece, like what's your revenue, where are your sales, where do they come from, etc. Then I'd onboard them and get them to connect their Meta ads, their Google ads. I'd get them to connect their Instagram and everything, and then I'd just get them to start talking to it. Like,
right.
no
Can
one,
you extend that?
like no one wants a spreadsheet. Who wants spreadsheet? Right?
100%,
They want
100%.
you want actionable. It's like no one wants a CRM, but they want to know who their top 10 highest spending clients are. Right?
So with those integrations, I didn't even think of this. So with the integrations there, are you guys able to add more stuff? So for example, for me, they've got a lot of Amazon sellers, right? So it's people with Amazon Seller Central, and that's their world, right? Can you add integrations like that, or is that something you have to do with you guys custom? How does that sort of stuff work?
The list of integrations that I've got are the same ones that we hand to a replicant.
Yeah,
If like I will say verbally, if there's an integration that's easy for us to do, as in there's an existing commercially available API, then
yeah.
we will look at it. If it's complicated, probably not. If it's a
Okay.
single use case, then we would probably just charge an installation fee and do it. That's the honest answer.
Yeah,
But
cool. Well, in that case, I'm sure
these
there's
ones are the
API.
main ones, right?
Yeah.
And um
Yeah,
so
I see Zero QuickBooks in there, which is
Shopify,
great.
yeah, I mean Shopify have an API and
Shopify and Amazon for sure have
so
APIs.
like no one wants to do an audit, but they want to know their data. No one wants to do an onboarding, but they want to get the outcome on the other side of onboarding. No one wants to do the questionnaire to start the thing that they've even paid thousands and thousands of dollars for, right? I got an intake form recently and it's sitting here on my desktop because I don't want to fucking do it. And I paid
Yeah,
$12,000 for this thing. And it's a 2 pages I don't want to do. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Well, I had some.
to me, the inline experience is like, hey, connect all your things, throw us your latest P&L or your latest spreadsheet, and let's analyze this together and then jump on a call or whatever the process is, right?
Yeah, so this is a fuck yeah moment for me because one of the things I know with this tool already. I gave it to a few econ buddies, and they're like, "Man, what this thing tells you is fucking great, but to find all these fucking numbers and put it all
Yeah.
in your tool, that did my head in, man." And I wanted to just
Yeah.
throw it out the window, and I'm like, "Oh man, it's not going to convert well then." Whereas if I can, yes, have it in something like this where people can, it can actually extract it through integrations. I didn't even know that was something we could do. So that's a pretty wow thing for me. Just again, I just got to prove a few people actually want this shit first before I commit to it. But
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
go and do that.
this stuff is hard, right? Getting our head around these things. And it is
Yeah,
hard. Like we're all grappling on different levels. Um, if there's data somewhere and there's a process, these things, my thing and some other things, will do that better than we've ever been able to do it in our lives and probably present it and visualize it and make it actionable faster than we can possibly imagine. And so
yeah,
if your clients have data and you have process, these things eat that for lunch, right? And that's why we're going to see some very, very, very large and profitable solo gigs because those complicated processes have been compressed into AI, data
mm,
extraction, but action has been compressed by AI into a place where discernment can be used. And our biggest advantage, if you're a coach or a consultant, is the human element of that because now your diagnosis is faster, now your process is cleaner, now your data is clearer. So your actions on the other side of that are much more profound. I read something the other day about the effective management consulting, that the basic long-term proposition for a $50 billion market is that there's no grunts in the management consulting world anymore. There's just data and partners. There's data, which is the grunt, the grunt workers, don't hire our 30 interns, then the partner on $5,000 a day. There's data, there's process, and then there's partners going, okay, this is how you present it to the board. This is how you acquire that company and those things. And we can think the same way. We can act as way, because the tools are now at our fingertips, and they're getting, like this would have cost $1 million to build 5 years ago. It will cost, the cost of these things is dropping by the second.
All right. Super, super helpful. Thanks very much. Last thing I just wanted to add for maybe some of the newer people on the call, and this is the thing about using VirtualJK for me, because I've done so much on Claude this year, like that's all I've done day in, day out for the whole year. Making the leap over to JK, I'm using JK to cross-check shit I do with Claude. That's how I've been using it at the moment. Because when I try to start fresh with JK, there's obviously that learning curve again. And I'm like, man, it's just too slow, because I want to just, and so I need to, I guess, what's your advice there? Is it rip the Band-Aid off and bite the bullet and just use it? Is that,
So I test different AI tools all the time, different models and things like that. So I've been testing some of the Chinese models. And so what I do when I'm going from a platform to a platform, no matter what it is, or I'm using someone else's tool because I'm buying other people's tools and looking at how they do things and those pieces, I will get my primary kind of day-to-day AI tool, which I'm using less and less, which is Claude, to say, give me a summary I have a main thread conversation. Give me a summary to brief another LLM on our conversations, the key points, the discoveries, etc. And then I will take that and I'll feed that, and it will just essentially, I'm not starting from scratch, I'm starting with context. So that's what you need to think about, like what context do you hand over? Just like those guys who came from Solo OS to VirtualJK, we gave people a prompt which said, summarize everything I've done in Solo OS. If you fed that to VirtualJK, he was 95%, 99% at the races from the first prompt. And the same thing if you're and this is going to be a thing in the future, you're going to have clients switching from someone's platform to yours. Give me a summary of everything that happened. If there's an AI tool inside that platform, get them to give you a summary of that, bring them over there, and you've got the complete picture, faster than you've ever been able to.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Gold.
Hey, Julie.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Yeah, look, I've had to miss some of this because I'm doing
What's the
some
question,
other
Julie?
stuff. The question is, how do I or can I get a replicant of me? That's really my question. Is that doable, or is it only for your higher level people that are getting the replicant?
At the moment, it's only for people in the society, but
Yeah.
you need to prove something already in the process, because the replicant's not just a great delivery tool to clients, it's a great way to repackage a product, right? But the repackage of the product is the key thing, right? The product needs to exist, and it needs to be validated at some level that you've got 4, 5, 6 clients running. Otherwise,
Right.
you're essentially, I'll use the crass phrase of putting lipstick on a pig. So we need a process that we've sold or something that we've done for someone to get those rapid results, because a replicant will give someone a great new product because it's better than their current client's delivery, but it needs to be based on something that's already validated. Is the honest answer. So that's not me gatekeeping it. It's for special people. It's just that the investment's way more justified when you've got something already that we can transport across, because then it's a multiplier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. It does. And I'm in the process of getting a workshop up and running at the moment, and hopefully we'll get a few people out of that. But the other thing I think you were just starting to talk about was go high level, because I'm paying, a VA to do my stuff and go high level. Are you saying that your VirtualJK, or whatever you want to call it, I'm not really up with all that, is going to, it replaces already what we're doing because,
Not
you
completely.
know,
No,
I've
definitely,
got,
definitely not completely. It will never completely replace high level.
yeah,
It will
because my
replace the
question,
functions that I use.
yeah,
So it will
I
replace
just,
landing pages, social posting, emails,
oh
email
yeah,
automation,
yeah,
and
yeah.
payments.
Yeah, because I've got all that from VirtualJK, and it's been amazing. But then I have to, you know, because I've got pre-emails to deliver before the workshop date. Then I've got post emails to deliver. It's done all that, but then I have to hand it over to my VA to make the connections and make sure people get the, you know, everything on time with their, you know, emails and all of that. So that will never. I'll still have to use Go High Level for that process. Is that correct at this
For a
stage?
while, yeah. I still use high level to send email, and that's all. I only log in to
Right.
send email.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
But
And
you don't
just
even now, you don't really even need to log into high level like a lot of platforms, because the VirtualJK will just talk to them. Like I don't really log into high
is that
level.
your integrations that you were just talking about?
Yeah.
Is it possible to do a Zoom or something at some stage with those integrations? Because the only one I'm really with is LinkedIn.
Oh, we only do those. We only do that level of support for society folks who've got their own replicant, because it's just a bit more custom. But
okay.
if you just connect the integration, if you roll over the integration, it will tell you exactly what it does on the right-hand side.
Okay. So could I put that into VirtualJK and ask them to guide me through how I can use, being only, you know, my platform is
click on the
LinkedIn.
integration, connect it, and then ask him how to use it.
Okay. All right. So I'd have to get my VA to connect it, would I, with that third party?
No, you literally just click the connect button, and there's a wizard that guides you through it.
Fantastic. Beautiful. How's your little daughter?
My little daughter's good. My little son's good. My big son's good. My middle, how many kids do I have? Middle daughter's great. He went to the osteo yesterday. You'll be pleased to know. So he got unjammed.
Oh yeah, is it your son who's building something? He's 13. I think I remember seeing something about that.
Yeah. Follow him on YouTube. You'll get much entertainment.
Thanks, James.
Thank you. Anyone coaching or consulting in like non-internet marketing, make money, more live a better life stuff?
Well, I'm doing that with what I'm doing. I'm not.
You're more B2B. I'm like, who's working with people or fitness or something like that?
I work with in the men's space, working with guys in relationships.
Yeah. So what do you give them process and methodology, and like what does your delivery look like?
So that has been something that I've battled with for years, to be honest, like coming up with a process to actually get the fastest result. So now one of my lead gen is an Activate, which is a 5-day framework that goes, do this thing, do this thing, do this, and it works.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how do I do that at our, what we call our luminary level, which is, I guess, your syndicate level, because we have guys in there who are business owners, but we're still working B2C, and we work on relationships and leadership. So they get more time, and then they get more presence and more desire from their partner. Those are the outcomes we focus on.
Cool. And that 5-day process, you've found that works by giving them the process. Do you need any accountability over the top of it, or is it just like they're following the framework and they're getting supported in the community?
The top guys, no accountability. Sweet, they do the thing and they go, "Hey man, this worked. That was awesome. Thank you." The guys who come in and the guys who come in and buy us like our $11 kind of offer, they're like, some of them do it, some of them don't. Sure. The guys that do it, they're like, "That's awesome."
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
We've been testing out different pieces of integrations like because we can connect to WhatsApp and Telegram and iMessage and those kind of pieces. So one of the things that we're looking at with some of our clients who are in more personal development and those things, what's the accountability layer? You know, do they get a message that morning because they're on day one and this is their because of course the task is already created and it's custom to them. So the message isn't like do this generic thing. It's like, hey Dave, today is the day when you do this kind of piece. So I was just curious if that was a value proposition.
Yeah. So you've now one piece is there. The reason why I can't get the guys to get so obviously I want ascension. That's the ideal. The guys who ascend are the guys who get the result, which are the guys who do the thing. To get them to do
But
their
their
thing,
not the thing.
yeah, their thing,
Yeah.
which is still the thing, but it's still their version of it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm finding, like even yesterday, I sent out a WhatsApp, but it takes a long period of time to, okay, I'll do all this, blah, blah, blah. And then I got a bunch of messages back and I was like, have you done the thing? And they're like, oh, no, the story. And I'm like, fuck, if you guys I know if you do this one thing, you'll instantly get a result, instantly, whether good or bad, but it's normally
But it
90%.
doesn't feel like theirs. That's the problem, right?
No.
It feels like a thing, not their thing.
Yes, I see where you're going. Yeah, so if it's the JK idea and they're chatting to,
well, I want everyone to conceptualize that now they can give everybody a custom journey.
Yes,
That wasn't available before, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what we're doing is we're extending all the way back to getting a custom offer, right? Because I will send a Google Doc to 100 people, and 23 of those people will buy the thing, the same thing on 100 documents, right? And we all do that. We have 50 or 100 or whatever. But what if we sent 100 custom offers to 100 people? What would that do to our conversion rate, right? But then if you think about process is just a distilled down version of a process that works, but the individual, how they relate to that process, where and when they engage with it, how it is interpreted in terms of their languaging, positioning, and all those things matters whether they're going to follow the process, right?
So it's still the same outcome. It's still going to do the same thing, but how they get there is their custom journey. They still end up doing the exact same.
Yeah, like what are some of the actions in the 5 days, for example?
So one's sending this specific framework text to their partner.
Okay.
So how do I get them to do that? And so they follow.
If you gave them the text with already pre-filled in, because we know their partner's name, and they just needed to copy and paste it into the message and they did it, would it make them do it?
I'm seeing it now. Yeah. Okay, cool. Exactly like how we put our information into JK and it comes up with the offer.
Yeah. And what I've started to appreciate as well is that people can't build a relationship with AI, but they can build a relationship with their AI. And people build and it's pretty obviously I can see everybody's chats in the background, right? And we do data analysis and we're constantly trying to improve it and doing that. And we're capturing the data, but I can see everything you put in there. Most people talk to VirtualJK like a person because it's a natural conversational flow and we're used to kind of texting things. That has a big advantage in the piece that we can get data from people like their wife's name in a natural conversational flow of like, hey, tomorrow you need to send a message to Sally to do this. And I'll send it to you first thing in the morning because they've already put in on the onboarding that their wife's name was Sally and their kid's name were those pieces. So one of the things I'd like people to take away is that you can customize and personalize every individual journey now at scale for very, very low cost, when before it was us doing the cost. Oh, you need to get on a call with me. You need to get these. So we can now deliver high touch, customized service to potentially everybody. And then we've just got the packaging. We've got the packaging of it, right? And the 2 or 3 tier offer is undefeated in us. It's like, then it turns into an access offer. Do you want lots of Josh?
Yeah.
Do you want a little bit of Josh, or do you want virtual Josh, right? And that's going forward is probably going to be most people's models, and the ingredients in each one of those will be the custom piece. But we will shift into access models because now we can offer a customized experience there, and then it's just a human access versus a digital access. Like how much of that you want.
Okay, this is a bit of a probably technical question, but for example, what was the thing you mentioned at the start? Fitness guys, I coach in fitness, but the caveat of that, no, it wasn't today. I was watching your training. It's like, I can also coach men how to be a better father, but stick in your lane about coaching them to lose weight. The add addition is that. So obviously, with our one, we also teach guys, how to control the nervous system. So health, how to structure and track their wealth. Okay, cool. So there's little things like that. for an example, if we customize our version of JK to Josh, could that help them build their own training programs and everything like that through the process?
Oh, fully. I mean,
Yeah.
Claude is an amazing workout creation tool, right?
100%.
Because
Yeah.
it's contextually relevant.
Yeah.
Because I say I've got a gym, I've got kettlebells, I've got this, I've got that, I've got that. I don't have this, I don't have that, and it gives me that. But health is a very big category. Workouts are a gigantic category on their own. But Bob the builder who's at home and has 3 kettlebells has constraints. So you giving Bob the builder the kettlebell program is different to Don, who's got a full access gym in his garage, right? And that's the difference, is that how do you get someone to do something? You make it contextually relevant to them.
Yeah.
Hey, Don, do the 3 the 3 kettlebell workout. Why the fuck would I do that? I've got a rack and a techno gym install and vice versa. I'll do this massively complicated workout. Got back squats and like, you can't do that. Right? Or defaulting to preferences. I don't like weight training. I don't like yoga. I don't like, so everything can be repositioned to be contextually relevant to the person, and things that are contextually relevant are more actionable. So the efficacy and the effectiveness rates of our delivery to clients will go through the roof. Right.
And then the last piece of the puzzle,
then you got to deal with the ego of that people can now and in the future work with VirtualJK for a few bucks a week and get better results than people who are paying me $20,000 or $30,000 2 years ago.
I'm okay with that.
So, but it's also, people need to think about this in terms of value destruction. Creative destruction is a real thing, and your model needs to cater for it. Otherwise, someone else comes and eats it, right? Fitness coaching is being eaten by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So people need to not just think about the technology, but the model around it in terms of an access model. Like, I'm going barbell. I'm going hard into personal events, and the big thing of the society is like, come to the events. There's more stuff at my house. I'm going on more planes to more continents, because that is the thing that you can't replace. But at the other end, I've got more clients than ever who've got daily access to me. On average, like 65, 70 people a day are chatting with VirtualJK and doing things, in any given day. I can't talk to 65, 75 clients in a day. And so I used to charge $5,000 to create an offer. Now it's $5. So the model that we back off these things is more important than the technology. Otherwise, we get cannibalization. And so, Josh, your premium stuff needs to accentuate the access, where your more accessible stuff can accentuate the process, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't actually depth and width at the same time, because if you don't have the depth, your economics get ripped out, because you're replacing your $2,500. You're at about $2,500 a month.
Yeah,
you're replacing your $2,500 a month with $100 a month digital clients, right? So you kind of almost need to swing to a $5,000 a month thing that has much less density and much higher access and intimacy to maintain the base. So people's business models are going to look kind of strange, because they're now deep and wide, whereas before they were like, I've got $100 thing, a $200 thing, and a like that. And so it does take some conceptualization, because I'm seeing a lot of people launch tools and rip the ass out of their revenue, because the things are so good now that they're actually so useful that they're not going to pay $2,500 to go and log into a Facebook group and turn up to a call on a Monday and So it allows us to reimagine and over deliver in different ways.
I have just one question there. Have you got somebody outside the B2B space that has built a replica of themselves and it's working for them?
Yeah. Fitness, personal development. Yeah. Someone we're just onboarding now is very much in the kind of, I would call, esoteric wellness, skills, mindfulness, those pieces. And she's not going full replicant like I am. She's not going for a virtual version. She's going for a kind of a more framework version, so an operating system version. And so it's replacing courses and templates and giving people custom journeys. So she's breaking down the tools and the process, rather than saying it's her because she doesn't feel it's appropriate for clients who have trauma or have to just offload the responsibility of coaching for that. I believe that AI can coach, but I also believe that you need to use some discernment about where it's placed. And there's 3 levels for me. There's a replicant, which is like crazy old me who just replicates himself, virtual you. There's the operating system. So Janine has Elevate OS, Karita has Boundless OS, where they have their methodology in their system and it consults to them, but it's not trying to pretend it's a virtual version of them, if you know what I mean. So it's an operating framework and it's a consultant. And then there's the kind of the tool version where your skills are in there. So the 5-day process and the breath work and the mindfulness and those pieces. But it's more of a toolkit that they would probably interact with and use more like they used a course portal or a membership before, and you kind of sitting above it and distinction. So it depends on the how you position your relationship with your clients and access, and it depends on your position in the market too.
Yeah, I mean, what you mentioned before is kind of where we're going. It's like, how do we do more in person? And we love the in person. It's a lot of travel, but it's fun. I go to places that I like, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, do that. Thanks for shifting my mindset around that, because I didn't think I thought it was just going to be a tool for me, but yeah, I'm saying okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's if you have process, then you can reimagine the ways that people engage with that process and give each person a customized journey. And when I say it's easy, it actually is. Because one of the things I'm doing for my replicant clients is if they don't have a skill in there, right? Because you might get asked about business stuff or operating stuff or lead generation and things like that. And you're like, I don't really want to either touch it or I'm not the person to ask, right? So I am giving people my skills in that to say, listen, I don't directly do that, but I got a guy and he's in the tool and the skill, and we can label that and brand that however we want. A couple of people have chosen because their market know who I am to label it as me. It's like James Kemp's offer creation skill. And so it's labeled. And when we will open up more, because we've got an amazing group of people who are using the more cross-pollination of those ideas. So we could have, Josh's 5-day mindfulness process. And if I've got a couple of people that are joining are like amazing at YouTube, and I'm not even going to pretend that I'm a YouTube guru. So the YouTube skills will go across there. So we can start to amalgamate skills and actually offer a broader base of things to our clients without us pretending that we're the guru about. I got asked about podcasting the other day, and I'm like, why would you even ask me about? I know nothing about podcasting.
That feels awesome.
And so it feels good to be able to give people things that and access to skills and a network that maybe lives outside our wheelhouse, but our clients still, they trust us to ask it, and I think that's a privilege. So it's nice to be able to give them something.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hey, James, can you hear me?
I can. I'll just answer Tom's question. Yeah, if you're an early bird or any of that, once you're on a price with me, you're locked. You're on that price for life. So, sorry, who was?
JD.
JD.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Long time no speak.
Long time. Hey, you really piqued my interest. So I'm in the Live a Better Life. And can you maybe shoot a video or something? Because you've been pushing the replicant. And I could digest it later, maybe if you shot it on YouTube, if you thought it was appropriate, or you could just unpack it a little bit deeper right now, how Karita and the other gal are using VirtualJK or their replicant just for the operating system, because the replicant thing has felt weird to me too. With the guys that I work with. So I'd like to hear more about it, I guess, how they're using it as an operating system.
Is it appropriate for me to show? I won't show it because I haven't asked permission to do it, and they're commercial products that their clients are paying access to. It'd be good marketing for them, but it's just positioned differently. The interface, the classroom, the community are there, but it's positioned as more of a kind of a course portal and a platform than a virtual version of talking to a person. So when you're talking to the agent, the agent isn't a virtual JD necessarily. It can be, but it's, you know, the concierge or the companion or something like that, where it just allows them to search and query information and surface it and customize it much more quickly. So the interface and the experience are identical, but the way that the agent's positioned and subsequently the way that the person builds a relationship with it is different. So that they're using it as a more of a speeding up tool than a relational tool.
One of the things that I've been worried about, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. One of the things that I've been concerned about is, you know, I have very uncommon perspectives on biblical interpretations. And if they're not articulated the way that I would like to have them articulated, they can be interpreted, you know, very different than I would desire for them to be interpreted. And so do those two gals, do they go in and kind of see how the agent is interacting and representing their insights or their take?
Oh, that has to be, that's for everybody. That has to happen.
Right.
Like voice is critically important. And I referred to it before in terms of the the knowledge base is one thing, right? You could upload the Bible into yours, but how it talks to those things is most important, right? So never mention, there's tons here that we help people craft, right? For some of the people, you know, in sales, and listening to things or speaking to things in real time, speed to answer is really important. So it needs to be concise. And one of the things I dislike massively about commercial LLMs is they're so wordy. You ask one question and it gives you 5 paragraphs back, right? And usually the language is just, it's tuned to some kind of flowery, sycophantic kind of frame, and you're wading through all this language. What you will notice with VirtualJK is he's direct and blunt. You barely get more than a paragraph, if that, and usually it's 2 lines. It will be uncapitalized. He'll use profanity if needed. He'll ingest it and accept it. And so those things are conscious design choices. So you need a conscious design choice. Wow. Like, and all of these are, you know, their voice. No coach speak. How does that feel? What comes up for you? Right? So that stuff's really important, because otherwise you sound like we're using commercially available LLMs as models, but we're just shaping all the inputs and outputs to get people a result much faster and more concisely and more accurately, because it's using a limited knowledge base and it's using your voice.
Did you show the AI builder piece there, James?
I did not.
Well, that's kind of a cool feature, because you can just, if you don't want to figure out all those system instructions and all the nuances of how your agent should talk, we have an AI that you just talk to that will write it for you and tweak it. So you can feed the feedback from your clients right into that, and it'll adjust your system instructions accordingly so that it fixes that issue in the future. And it will create skills for you as well.
And that's all at the replicant level. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
The best way to describe it is that there's AI, and then there's your AI, right? And I think when we first started, I've gone through 3 phases of this and 3 realizations. The first was AI can build cool tools around my process off a printer. AI could make a good clone of me. The first VirtualJK, like standalone kind of chatbot. And then we built the classroom and then those things just for usability, because switching between school and VirtualJK is kind of just shitty, right? So we just, okay, it's easy to integrate. The replicant adds to that on a massive scale, because in my case, it is a virtual representation of me. And of course, that means it gives me scale and access that I haven't been able to, achieve before, but it also gives me data, right? And so it's looking at everything all the time about people, the way that people interact. So if there's constant issues coming up with offer clarity, pricing confusion, I can either update the prompts or I could just hold a workshop on it, right? And one of the other things, of course, is like, what do you write about? Well, the things that your clients are struggling with are the same things the market's struggling with. So why don't you just take the things that your clients are struggling with and make content around it? And so if you feed that, you open this loop of, I have been bought cake and coffee. Didn't know it was my birthday. Thank you, love. It opens this loop of being able to live in this beautiful place of intuition, which we work with clients and how they're feeling and how they're sensing, but actual real data, which is how are they interacting with someone. I won't scroll down because it shows, I'll give you a quick boo, but that's the real time, there's personal data down there. That's the real time chat. So I can see all the messages that people are putting in there. But the analysis that sits on top of that, gives us points towards what our clients are struggling with en masse, right? Because on any given day, there's 100 people interacting with that. So I'm collecting large amounts of data very quickly. And of course, with the AI builder, that's self-learning. And if JD, in terms of the interpretation of scripture and these kind of pieces, you'll be able to see those things in real time because that, and it will and then you can self-correct. And if it's not conforming to your philosophy, which is the inside the world you've built, which is your right, then you either change it or fix it, or it's also an opportunity to talk about that externally and get more clients. And it's also an opportunity to put teachings around it internally to further bolster the value to your clients.
Cool. Thank you.
This shouldn't be surprising, but it was in the beginning. People will say stuff to AI that they will never say to you because humans have ego and they have pride. And in the course of helping people, one of the biggest blockers that people have is not knowing what question to ask. And so they don't ask it. Having a replicant or having a virtual version of you takes away that barrier. And you'll see one of the prompts there that we put early on was like, I don't know what to ask and I'm going to verbally vomit all over it. And a lot of our clients have taken that idea because they've realized that they can teach their clients how to ask better questions, which makes them more valuable. And so everything kind of accelerates because it's not the quality of the answer that is the outcome. It's the quality of the question, which leads to the quality of the answer, which is the outcome if you're kind of coaching and I read stuff in there. I'm like, that person would never ask me that. They would never say that to me. And I'm glad they've got a place to, I'm glad they've got a place to ask that. And I hope that shows up when they do talk to me in places with better questions. So it's really interesting because we can all interpret the word relationship as widely as we can, but differently as we need to. But people will form a trust-based relationship. Some people will choose to form a very high trust-based relationship with your replicant in ways that will actually beneficially carry over into your interaction with them or their interaction in their life if they don't have access to you.
Can I give you an observation from my point of view?
Please. Regarding
that? So I've been in your world a while.
You never talk to me, so you're talking to someone.
Yeah, exactly. So I can only imagine, and I've, early on, I was on quite a few Zooms with you, and you were great. But just like all of us, if you answer the same question 800 times, asked 500 different ways, I could just imagine how frustrated you would get. at everybody. And it seems like you are, of course, you got a new baby, but it seems like you're just a lot more gracious. Not that you weren't, but I couldn't imagine answering the same thing over and over. And so it kind of seems like it just frees you up to be um, more tolerant, more gracious, and you can offload some of those, like you're saying, people can ask questions to VirtualJK.
Yeah.
So
No, thank you. I'm actually more intolerant.
yeah,
And the way I see it, I want to work with humans. I don't want to coach on the internet, is my honest thing. I want people to come to my
yeah,
house. I want to hang out. I want to do things in person, because that's where the nuance and the resonance happens, the
yeah.
nonverbal stuff. I don't think coaching is a real thing on the internet. Shoot me, right? Because you do not have the level of interaction in those things. Like
You really are
Dion,
confessing today.
Dion's here. He was here a couple of months ago, sitting next to me on the couch in that room there, right? We could talk all day long on Zoom and those things, but I wouldn't pick up the body language, the emotion, the stories, and those kind of things. I'm like, what's he really saying? What's he really asking? What's really going on here? What's the real opportunity? What's the real blocker? And so I see these leverage points as just like, I can help more people, so I can coach more people in person and less people on the internet, because it's not all the way there. It's not as complete. Is it still coaching? Yes. Are you helping someone find something inside them? Is it effective? Yes. Is it full spectrum, full bandwidth, the best thing for both of those people? No. Real coaching, real mentorship happens in person. Everything else is just iterated away from that. People won't say things in a group that they would say to you in a private Zoom call. People won't say things in a private Zoom call that they'll say to you face to face. People won't say things to you face to face that they tell you a fucking AI agent as well. And so to me, it's just, how do I help humans who are going to be the blocker in this? How do I remove all the strategy bullshit, the button clicking and all those pieces, so we can actually spend more time with the person? Because the problem is never the problem. The blocker is never the true blocker. The thing they say is in the way, that's in the way, isn't really that. The answer's 3 levels down, and you need space and time for that. So for me, a replicant is handing off process and handing off consulting and handing off the strategy, because that's always the easy bit. And that's the bit that I'm not tolerant about talking about anymore. I'm like, I fucking solved this years ago, guys. Go and write a really great offer in a Google Doc and get shitloads of people to see it every week. You'll make tons of money, right? Why that doesn't happen is much more interesting to me, right? Because VirtualJK can write you an offer in 5 minutes that will take you 5 years to probably never get to that level. Honestly, if you just used this stuff and did it and executed it, the strategy is taken care of. And everything else was just a preference point of intolerance. Like, I don't want to fucking build another landing page or a funnel. I've been doing this for a decade, man. Right. And so thank you, but I'm just way less tolerant because I just want to work with people.
So I was talking to Dan, for those of you who don't know and haven't watched the video, James recorded a little video about creating custom landing pages with VirtualJK, and I was confused. So I just went in and asked VirtualJK, how do I do this? And VirtualJK was confused what I was asking. And I'm like, no, build it just like James, the real James did on this video. So your virtual did watched, and it's like, oh, I get what you're trying to do. So I dropped my 7-minute video link in, and virtual, like, literally built this in the last 7 or 8 minutes while you and I have been talking. It just put this together. I haven't looked at it to see if it's accurate. I just published it. So anyway,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. If you just give him the YouTube link or anything like that, then he'll just embed it, and then if they click there, JD, that will just go into the lead section of your account.
Yeah.
And you can connect it to high level or anything else. I know you've got a pretty good tech stack.
Well, I love this because when I saw you record that, I'm like, oh, that's ninja. That's so you can have literally a custom landing page for every single YouTube video that you have.
Yeah, man, that's like, I mean, YouTube's a wonderful lead source. And of course, because it compounds. So if you have a custom landing page for every single YouTube video, the number of leads you'd be collecting on the long tail would be just absurd, right?
Yeah.
And we've made that easy to do.
Yeah.
One of the little, if you use YouTube to host your kind of marketing videos, it's like invisible retargeting. So if people click on JD's page now and they accidentally watch that video or click on it, or and it's even there, next time that person goes to YouTube, the chances of them seeing your video are up about 10,000%. So you can actually use embedded YouTube videos as a kind of a mini retargeting hack. So if you get traffic to your landing pages and they've got YouTube videos on them, the algorithm picks up who that person is, and then you can actually do a lot of like subversive like retargeting, because then they're going to go and see you when they actually do it. Which obviously you don't get the same thing with Wistia and Vimeo and stuff, because they're closed circuits. So YouTube's not like got the perfect player things, and it's not like salesy and anything like that, but it's a wonderful little retargeting thing that works super well. Now the algorithm is really interest based and really tight. As soon as you see something, it starts feeding you all that stuff.
That's cool. Well done.
Tom's question. No, nothing's locked in. There's no contracts or anything around here. It's just week to week. Any more? I got 20 minutes.
What's week to week? What was the question you were answering just then?
There's a couple of different membership levels for VirtualJK. So there's the one that everybody sees, and then there's when someone starts to test drive, they're offered an early bird. And Tom was asking whether does that change. So if someone starts paying at X at $57 a week in my world, they stick at that level even when the prices go up.
Oh yeah, okay.
So some people are in the society at half of what other people are, and shortly half again, because I just have people in for grandfathered pricing.
James, if you happen to qualify for the society, do you help them? I've seen somewhere, I think it's what your son's doing at the moment, is building something that generates you 3K a month or week or something amount of time. Like, is that something that you can? Do we have like our own sort of pathway with you in the society where if that's what we need up front, you can do that?
Yeah, everybody's a replicant license doesn't fully work without packaging it properly.
Yep.
Because as I said before, there's a real risk of cannibalization that people are undertaking either knowingly or unknowingly with all these tools out there. The people who aren't adopting tools in their business and not giving their clients access to tools are going to get eaten by commercial LLMs. Most coaches are going to get completely rolled by ChatGPT, is the honest thing. Like 90% of the market, and the fitness is already happening. It's just like technology eats things, right? Social media, right? Websites, So when people launch them, they need to be mindful of having the right commercial model to support it. And so it's really important for me to not just say, hey, here's some cool tech and we turn it on and you've got this great low ticket product, because what that would do on its own is cannibalize your already great product, right? Because some of your clients are going to go, hey, this is so good that paying you thousands of dollars a month doesn't make sense, right? So we need to have the right structure for the delivery and the right framing for those offers to enhance the commercial outcomes and not destroy them, because that's a real risk. People adding AI to their business, that the risk is it's so good that they actually accidentally disintermediate themselves and destroy the value of their perception to their clients. So it requires mindfully thinking about the core business you're in, that proposition. And that's where I come in to say, hey, Kath, if we do this, it's so good that these people are going to be paying a few $100. That doesn't make sense for them to pay you a few thousand. So let's make sure the few thousand thing, and probably north of that, because what we're seeing is pricing separation, that there's no middle for anybody anymore.
Yeah.
That you've got these super high ticket things that are high access, high contact, and those things, and then that kind of base layer. And so for me, that's
Yeah.
really important because this threatens to, and I'm seeing people cannibalize their whole businesses now.
Yeah, I've actually had that sort of just only a few months ago. I've had a real reckoning over the last 6 months, and it's actually pushing me back into the work I love, which is the strategy, not the. I'm a bit like you. I only implement because I just need to see these ideas get out there. I'm sick to death of coaching people and telling them to do it and then them not doing it. So I'm just like, just give it back and move out of the way. And I'll just do it for you. But I don't love it. And I don't love managing a team of VAs to do it either. So it's all speaking to me. My thing is, I've put an email to send to you, but I've put a great kind of methodology together. I've got 3/4 of it built. But what I need right now in order to pay for the society would be something that doesn't require me in the delivery, or does only in a group kind of scenario, something not a lot of time anyway, to pay for the society. So
that's how we're structuring the launches. Essentially, my proposition to people when I launch it is that this pays for your whole year's license in the society.
Yeah,
and,
cool.
And
okay.
even people with a moderately sized audience, that we're hitting that goal in most cases. But my read on the whole thing, this is for people who are getting one of these or not, or ignoring AI or diving into building their own tools. The value of taste and discernment is going up. The value of execution is going down. And so if you think about the places that only you can apply taste and discernment, I say that VirtualJK is wonderful at the map, but I've lived in the terrain, right? VirtualJK is going to be way better than me at building Kath a strategy and executing it way faster, way more direct. The copy is going to be more concise. It's going to have more, it's going to be more, it's going to be higher performing. But I've lived it for 15 years. And and then there's the taste and the discernment, the position, the nuance, the current market conditions, because AI is trained on the past, not the present and the future. And so for things like brand, and you've seen this with copywriters. Now copywriters are now becoming brand strategists, like PR agencies became content, right? Because as soon as people could get direct access to media, they didn't need PR agencies. So PR agencies had to reinvent themselves as content. So brand strategists will now probably need to elevate even more in terms of the discernment of the brand and what it means, and the interaction with the commercial layer of the products and those kind of things, to more encompass the commercial outcomes of a brand than just because the copywriters become brand strategists and the brand strategists become commercial brand strategists, or what those things. But the taste and the discernment that you apply to the client is more valuable, but the execution is now less valuable because the AI does it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really exciting because it means I might be able to spend more time, looking on Pinterest for amazing inspiration for, visual identities, or spend more time in the market research phase or whatever. It's super exciting. It's just, like you say, getting the right price points on things. And I do feel like I've finally hit something that's fairly easy to sell, but I don't have an endless lead bucket for it. So VirtualJK would take care of the lead generation. Like, there's something in there that would help me work on the lead generation, because I'm doing a lot.
There's 3 campaigns that we give you out of the box that I use myself. So there's essentially a hot campaign for people who are in the network, which goes to a front end, that offer that I kind of created today. There's the test drive, which is both lead gen and lead capture and conversion. And then there's this workshop campaign that sits around the thing I'm doing today, before and after it, which is just a basic strategy. But one of the things that struck me the other day is someone who's got a very large agency is coming on board, right? A YouTube agency. And he's tried courses, he's tried low ticket memberships, he's tried a group program, but they always got in the way of the agency. He runs an agency. It's a YouTube agency, that $15,000 a month retainers and these things. And I'm like, yeah, but this is just like, you've got the done for you level in the agency. Don't change that. It's really successful. It's $15,000 to $25,000. People come to you, they pay you. You've got high profile clients. That's easy, right? But there's no capacity there because he has to hire. Now you've got a done with you proposition, because you take all those processes down and you can do them. You can do that call that you were doing for that program that wasn't particularly successful because you ended up actually doing some done for you services for people, and you were kind of cannibalizing and bastardizing the done for you. The done with you piece is you turning up once a week in this call, and then virtual you doing the done for you components of that and the delivery. That's very valuable. And then the DIY is none of him, just the tools, just that. And so he can go, I'll make up the prices, but he could go 15 grand done for you, 5 grand done with you, 500 DIY.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing that I found years ago of having a multi-tier offer, it basically kills churn, right? If someone leaves your $15,000 agency, you go from 15,000, when you've got nothing to downgrade them to, you go from $15,000 to zero on a retainer. And the average agency retainer and lead gen and sales is about 5 months. The average client stays for about 5 months, and the average agency or coach has over 100% annualized churn in the market. Right? So that's why coaches and agencies spend so much time on client acquisition, because they have to. But if you didn't lose clients, like my annualized churn is 3%, because what happens is if someone leaves the society, they're still a VirtualJK member. They're still in the world, they're still paying, right? And there's a few people here who used to be in the syndicate or the circle or the society, they're still here, and maybe one day they'll come back. So what you have is this ability to actually mitigate. You don't even have to sell those things. You can just offer them on the market. So Kath, you could do a done for you install proposition for like 3 months, and then the retainer could be high, but then you could get people into a lower level of maintenance retainer to checking in with you. And rather than necessarily spreading everything across a linear, you pay me X amount for every month for 12 months, you could go 5 grand a month for the first 3 months and then $1,000 a month done with you for the next 9 months and these things. So it opens up a lot of ways to expand lifetime value, reduce churn, and and one of the major things for me is building this so we don't have to market anymore.
Yeah, I think you're really answering like exactly my problems. Like the only reason I can take on a limited number of clients is because I've got that limited amount of time to do the strategy piece up front. But if I wasn't then managing a VA team to build the website and do the email campaigns, and that was all sort of, they were just pressing buttons for me in VirtualJK, then I guess, I don't then I clear up the capacity problem I have, which would then become a lead generation problem, which then I would need to solve that. But hopefully by then we're making enough money that I can throw some money at ads and actually solve that problem too, which.
Yeah, the first evidence that it allows people to do done for you services. One of our clients has got about 26 what we would class as a done for you delivery on the platform. So
yeah,
I think he had 6 VAs doing the done for you component for those clients, and now he's got 1, because they're building in the tool, and then the client's using the tool, so they're deploying it. And so once we have the email and those kind of things, and he owns the full stack, then he's going to upsell those people into ad management, because we've built the platform that makes it more efficient because the ads are integrated, right? So he can actually massively increase the number of done for you clients he serves because of the platform. But then he can actually do lifetime value extension by starting offering more services, because he's passing on that efficiency. And that would take a little while for people to flow through. But I'm very bullish on people running done for you off replicant platforms, because you just reduce the amount of labor. And if you've got reduced amount of labor on there, then you could either repurpose that labor into offering more value add services by extending margin, or you could just cut the labor out and actually just lower your overall expenses. But so you've got both
Spend some time with my fucking kid before he leaves school. I've got a couple of, done for you, what I call kind of engines that I was going to build. My partner's sort of got into AI app building and stuff, but if I can just circumvent, he's also working full time, so it's just never going to happen in the time frame I need it to. But some ideas around PR engines, podcast reach out engines and things like that. Is that something that I could build into my replicant as well? Like, could you guys help me devise those? Like they're just conceived at the moment, but I have sold them, so I need to fucking deliver them.
That's the stuff I'm leaning into the hardest personally, because I realized that these things can just eat process. And honestly, I'm learning so much about how different models can be deployed on it, which is good for me because, I envisage this for coaches and that's expanding very rapidly just by
Yeah.
using it. And
Yeah.
also, Dan and I didn't want to build a platform that was constrained, right? And one of the things
Yeah.
I noticed when I used School is everybody had the same business model eventually because the platform
Yeah.
was so, this is the way you do it, constrained, that it essentially increased competition rather than decreased it. And I think that's really unhealthy for most businesses to, again, oh, well, you have to do a 999 monthly thing and send people to it forces people to all sell the same product, to all look the same, to all market the same, which
Yeah.
is
Well,
like,
that's Go High Level Agency, right? It's the same thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've taken it on the fact that the platform is very tight in terms of the things it does, but we also want it to be very flexible in terms of the people it serves and the modularity of it to do that. And so our clients are teaching us a lot about different places that can live and different modalities. Because one of the clients already has got, can I get an instance for each of my corporate clients because they have data protection, they have like,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm like, well, yeah, you can start reselling them to them. And he's like, oh, I can charge them like 100 grand for this because corporates are dumb with technology. They pay stupid amounts of money. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
going to make a fortune and make it because an LM, a learning management system out in the consumer world is $97 a month. In corporate land, it's 250 grand of blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah, and I'm like, dude, you're going to make a killing off of these. So
Well, see, I've got a corporate branch.
I'm bullish on that for people
Yeah.
actually taking the platform and the concepts and the idea once they work out how to reform their core business model to make it more efficient and more profitable and less need to market to actually extend it into places. So I'm really interested in working with people who are going to do that, where you're going to take it and do things that I can't even imagine, because
Yeah.
that's good for us.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So
I
there, yeah,
also
I've got,
want your skills. Like one of my ulterior motives is that, Kath, you're going to be better at branding and
yeah.
PR and those things to me. Like I'm going to see stuff in your replicant and go, can I have that for my people? And you're going to see stuff in my replicant and people in the network who are like, can we have that? Like, people are
Yeah.
asking me about like fitness training and like relationship advice inside VirtualJK. I'm like, hang on. We got fitness trainers and relationship gurus and branding people and YouTube. So I really keen on creating a network of expertise as well, where we can share, some core stuff and I'll work out ways to monetize it too and build external tools so we can take the genius of the network around all these different, I'm one of the best people in the world at creating offers. Like people would be crazy not to just take my skill and copy it and call it their own. But that's a pretty narrow lane, right? And everybody's got a lane, everybody's got years and years of expertise, and I want them to bring it in and share it with the network.
Yeah, that makes it like, it's already compelling, but it makes it even more compelling. It's like, kind of being in boardroom with Taki, right? Like it's like you're there for the people and the contacts, and in
Yeah.
this situation, you're there for the people and the contacts, but also for their information, and like you say, what they can share. Because my ideas are endless. I just can't build shit fast enough. That's my problem, and I don't have the expertise.
Yeah. But the crazy
Yeah.
thing is that I realized 2 years ago that people were going to clone me anyway, and they already did.
Yeah.
After I launched the Sovereign Consultant, people were emailing me and saying I've chucked it into ChatGPT and I've made a custom GPT of you, and so I don't need your coaching, and thank you very much for your $5 book. And I'm like, oh shit, I just disintermediated myself out of business. And so there's a serious risk, and I appreciate that some people don't want their concept of AI because it hasn't been defined for them. And I think a lot of coaches rightly are like, it can't replace me, and they're partially right. But a lot of people are just going to get eaten up by $20 a month LLM because it looks and feels good enough.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they don't know, otherwise they get the result. So I'm like, shit, because I was like, oh, AI. And then I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to keep pumping out content and IP, and someone else is going to do it before me, of me.
And the reason I jumped into it with I was using Pickaxe, and I started building all my own bots, and basically what your solo thing is in Pickaxe. And then I just looked at it and went, I don't want to spend my life updating an AI system and training guardrails and shit. Like if I can just buy it out of the box with someone like you and Dan So I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that bit. That sounds pretty good,
Yeah, a couple of people have come from, Taki's world. I showed them everything a year ago. They built their own and they're like, you were right. The supporting people on software fucking sucks. So can you do it for me? I'm like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Building software's never been faster. Like, honestly, you
Yeah.
could replicate kind of 60-70% of what we've built here in a few days and launch it. It wouldn't evolve because you wouldn't have time, and it wouldn't, it would be a pain in the ass to support. And a couple of people have turned from like coaches and consultants into help desk ticket answerers because they built Pickaxe, Replit, and these things. And like, building's easy.
Yeah.
Products are now literally easy. Anyone can go and vibe code anything.
Yeah.
Supporting them is difficult. Having a commercial model that doesn't accidentally kill the golden goose for established people is difficult, because I'm seeing people essentially replace their $2,500 a month coaching program with a damn good synthetic version of it for $97. That's not good business.
No.
It's not. So you need the dynamics and understanding, because I saw it happen to me. Lots of people were like, James, this is so good, I don't need to be in the syndicate. And I'm like, you're right.
Well, we're already at this. I do that every day because we've got a women's network where they're sort of 0 to start up to sort of 3-4 years in. And they're missing a lot of the basic business knowledge. And we teach through a 6P framework. And I'm already jumping into Coffee Connects and stuff and giving people advice in there that I should be keeping for people that are paying me 30 grand a year. But I just can't help but be helpful, So even just, and then I've got the corporate space as well, that I do a bespoke personality profiling tool, which I could also build into this and do the same thing as your corporate person and sell spaces to individuals that I put that program through. So, like I've got sort of 3 different spaces that I'm doing the personal brand stuff in, 3 different clients. And yeah, the bastardization is real between them already. And I've never gone through like the thinking process of what belongs there, what belongs here, what belongs there, and where can I drop them down and put prices up for that smaller group of people and not be busy,
Yeah, without doing both at once, there's risks there. And one of the other frames that I observe and think looking at is like the value of information goes to 0. And again, the value of insight goes to the moon, right? Because insight is very personal and individual. And so we can now afford to give away all our information and then just charge for the insight. Just like we can afford to give away or make the map and our strategies very, very cheap and accessible to a wide number of people, but make the terrain and the access, much more expensive, because that's the nuance and how it gets executed. Like, if you work with VirtualJK for a year and you follow the 3K path, there will be people who will, for $57 a week, build 3K a week, 3K a day businesses. If you just did it, right? Would that business be absolutely perfect for their life, their skills? Could it have been a $3 million business? Like, those questions will only be answered if I'm with them, because I've seen that pattern 1,000 times, right? And so the information is worth nothing. There are, Brandon, go and watch Brandon Wellington's YouTube ads, 8-hour, 9-hour, 10-hour thing on. Go and watch Caleb Ralston's build a personal brand in 6 hours thing. Information's worth nothing, right? But now it's worth something again when we put it inside the knowledge base of an LLM, because now it can deliver insight to a human, right? So the 1,000 people who watched the information for free on YouTube for 8 hours versus the 1,000 people who queried exactly the same information and helped that tool give them the YouTube video to make, the ad to launch, and those things. That's where the value is. And so the bridge is like so subtle, because information and insight on the surface look the same, but insight's very specific and personal. And we only get insight individually, but we have fucking fire hoses of information coming at us. And that's the opportunity, but it's also the risk. And so if we give away, in my thesis, if we give away all the information, then we can bring people towards us. And then if we sell the insight correctly and the discernment and the terrain, then we can build more efficient, leveraged, and more valuable businesses than we ever have been able to, because some of that insight handling can happen inside these platforms, and then other can happen with us in person, and other things can happen on Zoom.
Yeah. And so in the society, like, how often do you open up spaces in that? Like, is that
I'm opening it up now because the price is going up. So it's 30 grand a year, and it's
Yep.
going to 50 on the 17th of August. So that's
Wow, okay.
577 a week.
Okay. And then when you onboard into that in the first month, like, getting that 3K offer in place that can pay for the thing, what does the onboarding of that look like?
Yeah, so like day one, Alex reaches out and starts to ingest all the content, your videos, your courses, and those things, and we build a replicant demo. And so by the
Yep.
time you and I have a call, I'm like, this is what we've got, let's shape it. And like,
Yep.
because positioning these things is going to be really important, because
Yep.
positioning it is relative to the offers that live around it, right?
Yep.
How does this live compared to how does this live as a standalone product tier? Can it live on its own where people will pay for it every week or every month? How does this relate to your premium pieces, and what's the interaction between those things? So positioning it there is my job, because I need to make sure we've both got a standalone product like VirtualJK on its own, but we've also got for you something that complements it, that's much more valuable around it. So that's my job.
Okay, awesome. All right, great.
Make sense?
Sign me. Yeah. It's taken me 4 years to get here, but let's do it.
Yeah, the process, like when you've got process, can I also give like one of the hardest things about this for me is that I've been working for myself, working on the internet for 15 years, like started an agency and those things. 97% of the stuff I've done, the strategies I've used, the things I've done were bullshit and didn't work, but they've helped me find the 3%.
Yeah.
Doing this process of building this for myself, distilling it, having a developer, and also having a feedback of like, why does someone need this? Why does it exist? Has made me realize that about 3% of the things I've done are very, 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 very valuable. And 97% of the stuff I've done needed to happen to find the 3%. And I've had to kill so many darlings in the process of this, like stuff that was like, oh my God, I love the daily client machine. And I'd fallen in love with the work a little bit. And as you go along, you realize in the effort to serve people, that growth now is what is removed. It has been for a while, but what is removed rather than what is added. And it's kind of exciting because it means that one or two of your things are like so much more valuable than they appear now. But 5 or 6 of them were just like window dressing. They were courses or trainings or really like brands that you loved, or I love that headline, or, I love the daily client machine. Does it work? Not anymore. So it's got to go. So that's been really hard for me because I love the work. I love building them. I'm over clicking the buttons, but in the process, you really get to the core of your work, and people who are experienced are going to have a double-edged sword with that, because they're going to have trouble letting go of some stuff they really love that doesn't do anything for their clients.
Or you're just fucking over not making enough money, and so you're just ready to let anything go that doesn't
That's
serve that goal.
the leverage is in the good stuff always, because the market has almost perfect information and they can find the bullshit much more quickly. And so it's our kind of job to distill it down to the essence of those pieces. But that's been hard. It's been hard to delete stuff. But people are seeing the results from it, and that's what gets paid. That's what gets us paid.
That's what we want. Thank you for your time. I've got to run, but I'm grateful. I'll talk to you on email.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Friends,
Hope that's given people lots of perspective about, because the public conversation about AI is like really unhelpful. It's what's the best platform, what's the best tool, and those things. We're 19 months into this, from a private GPT, the offer creator, to Solo OS and those pieces. But being in it and seeing how it's applied, and those pieces of like made me understand more and more about where it's deployable and where it is. But fundamentally, we can productize ourselves in ways that we've never been able to do. I'm offering services and things that I never conceptualized I'd be able to in this age. And we're also increasingly able to market less, which I think is a great benefit to everybody, because most people suck at marketing because it has a level of manipulation inside it. And when I can just record a video showing something that the replicant does is cool, or a result that someone got, and the speed to result in these pieces, you may have noticed I'm pumping out more content than I've ever been able to do, because I'm just documenting the journey along the way. And that's really profound and freeing. It means that the less marketing that happens, the less, error, or the less fatigue that can set in for people, because you just demonstrate the results and the value of your work as you go along. So hopefully today give you some perspectives on not this surface level of AI this and AI that, and slot and Claude and code and $2,000 worth of tokens automating $50 processes. It's like, if you've got a process, AI will condense it for your clients. If you've got IP, it's never been more valuable, but also the information inside it's never been less valuable. And now your IP is super valuable when you give insight to people, when they can query it and access it and customize it for them. And so it's a very exciting, but also a scary time, because a lot of things have stayed exactly the same. I think the value of humans and relationships has gone up, even in this kind of weird piece where people are building a relationship with tools. But the value of information and IP has shifted into places where you can place it better. All right, folks. Always good to hang. I'll see you around.
Thank you very much, James.
Cheers.